So, I pissed off Joe Rogan chads. To provide a little bit of context to this video, I have a TikTok page, and on that TikTok page, I like to post experimental videos. And what I mean by that is any stupid idea that pops into my head, I like to shit it out as content and post it over there. Enter my Joe Rogan video. For full disclosure here, I used to watch and listen to a lot of Joe Rogan back in the day, not so much anymore, but I did want to watch this current clip that just popped up recently because Joe Rogan, of course this was national news, caught COVID-15. COVID-15, whoa. He got the earlier version. He caught COVID-19, and this was kind of big news because a lot of people say he spreads a lot of misinformation about it. While watching this video, Joe Rogan said something that really caught my attention, and that was that he said he wasn't scared during the entire pandemic. The reason why that caught my attention is because I specifically remember him saying he was scared during the pandemic when he was talking to Bill Burr. So with that information, I decided to make this video.
Why you shouldn't take Joe Rogan seriously?
Well, I wish you were in the hospital. Because I wasn't scared during the entire pandemic. What they would like is that when I did get sick, that I was really sick.
And you learned your lesson.
Really scared and learned my lesson.
Yeah.
Well, I was scared out of my mind in the beginning. In the beginning, like when everybody's shutting down in the beginning and people are stockpiling food, I was convinced. At one point in time, I was like, God, I do feel like I'm breathing heavy. I felt like my breath is something, like my breath is coming short. I did. I had like psychosomatic issues
who's the bitch,
thinking about it.
So as you might assume, this didn't sit well with the chads that love Joe Rogan. So let's go ahead and check out those comments. JT Max says, way to continue the CNN disinformation trend. Anybody who watches Joe Rogan knows the contextual truth. Chad, not contradiction, just learning over time. Fair point, Chad, fair point. Enemy 3 here says, laughing my ass off. I love the anti-Rogan people. Crying face emoji, sideways laughing emoji, haters. Classic Chad comment. Acro says, why we shouldn't take this poster seriously. Hey guys, I'm a poster. Dwayne says, how about you don't take me seriously? Dwayne, I 100% agree. You shouldn't take me seriously. Also, maybe not put a lot of stock in a video that ends with the Curb Your Enthusiasm music. Oh wait, this is a good one. This is the dumbest clip of all time. Put the Curb music over yourself for making it. David Pena says this guy is hate watching Joe. David, I even say full disclosure, I used to listen to Joe Rogan, but now I'm like, huh? I don't hate watch Joe, I was curious about what happened to him. He just had COVID. There's more and more comments like that, but I do kind of want to address a lot of the comments that popped up. One of the biggest things saying that I took this stuff out of context. A lot of people said it's out of context because I cut out the second part of the clip, which is this.
I got over it, though. I got over it.
Guy had a fucking panic attack sitting on fucking 12 elk. You had a fucking panic attack
in the sauna.
And then you felt bad about yourself, and then you attacked people with masks. That's how it works. And that's how the hatred starts. And that's right now why 7 blocks of Seattle, you can't go now and get yourself.
So a lot of people said it was out of context because I didn't include the part where he said he got over it. I didn't include that in the video because I didn't think it was necessary. But at the same time, I put the Curb Your Enthusiasm music in the fucking video. 1, meaning you shouldn't take it that seriously. And 2, if you're good at video editing, you don't just include every bit to make the meme happen. If you include a full minute of random talk and then do the Curb Your Enthusiasm stuff, it doesn't make sense. Do you not know how to make entertaining memes? Either way, not including that clip doesn't hurt the context in my opinion. Because according to the definition of context from Google, the circumstances that form the setting for an event, statement, or idea, and in terms which can be fully understood or assessed. The 2 clips I showed have Joe Rogan saying, I wasn't scared the entire pandemic, and the other one saying that I was scared at the beginning of the pandemic. Which brings me to my next point. A lot of people started taking the word entire and kind of trying to make it fit their narrative. He wasn't scared during the entire pandemic. He was scared at the beginning. Also show that he says right after you cut off the second clip. Again, same thing. Those group of people are together. Another person right here. Let me quote what he said. I wasn't scared during the entire pandemic. I was scared out of my mind in the beginning. No contradiction. I hate to do this again, but the definition, according to Google, entire, with no part left out, whole. If you want similar words, whole, complete, total, full, beginning, middle, end, entire. So if he was scared at the beginning, that means he didn't go the entire pandemic not being scared. It's okay if you like Joe Rogan, but what he said there contradicts being scared. I'm sorry. Now, I do feel like this whole argument of entire with beginning, all that jazz, is going to fall into semantics, and that's what a lot of people are going to put this out to be. But we can also just say that Joe Rogan used a poor choice of words here. But then again, if you want to fight with context, you can watch that whole 14-minute video, and Joe Rogan is pretty confident in that whole video saying like, oh yeah, I beat the thing and they're just haters and these guys suck and blah, blah, blah. The way he's carrying himself would make you believe, if you've never known Joe Rogan or if you've never watched any of his stuff, that he was not scared the entire pandemic. So yeah, getting into a war of like, oh, how you think he portrayed it doesn't really matter. Like, we have videos of him saying he was scared, and now we have this like overconfident video of him saying I wasn't scared the entire pandemic. If he comes out and clarifies it like, oh, I didn't mean it this way, then yeah, totally fine. I'll eat my words. But for the most part, the way he comes off makes it seem like, yeah, I wasn't worried the whole time. The next batch of comments was a lot of people kind of saying the same thing of like, yeah, that's how he was at the beginning, but he learned over time and now he's not scared because he got new information or any kind of other things they want to toss in there. And that right there is something I can totally agree with, because I do believe in people learning stuff and changing over time. That is just a part of life. But I feel like there's a lot of people out there that will totally be cool with Joe Rogan being like, I was scared at the start and now I'm a big macho man. But they don't apply the same mindset to, let's say, the CDC or health departments. Because over the course of the pandemic, things have went up and down of saying like, oh yeah, you should double mask, or everything that touches COVID should be wiped down and all this other kind of stuff. And they're like, oh, it's not as dangerous anymore, or whatever that information is. I'm not a doctor, but we know it's happened. If I'm not mistaken, Joe Rogan's even talked about this on his show before. He might have even said it in that Bill Burr podcast.
But even they say you shouldn't wear a mask unless you're treating a coronavirus patient. The World Health Organization.
Yeah, but they didn't say that
literally
initially. They didn't say it initially.
No, they didn't.
But it's that same mindset of you learn something and you change over time. There's a lot of people that will listen to Joe Rogan and be like, no, he learned over time. But when it comes to health departments, they'll be like, nah, they got it wrong at the start, so fuck them, I'm not gonna listen to them anymore. What? It's the same exact thing, but you're choosing to believe somebody you admire over somebody you don't trust? Maybe trust was the wrong word there, but you know what I mean. You don't know everybody that works at the CDC, but they are a high health organization, so they should be given that trust, because obviously you guys don't know Joe Rogan even though you listen to him all the time. So we had the hardcore defend Joe Rogan chads, then we had the like, oh, he just changed over time chads. Then we got my favorite chads of the he's just a normal guy, nobody should take him serious chads. This is my favorite thing when it comes to Joe Rogan or anybody that is famous, is when people try to say he's just an average guy. I hate to break this to you, but Joe Rogan is not a fucking average guy. Joe Rogan bought a $14.4 million house in Austin, Texas. Fucking average people don't do that. Now, obviously, there's a huge parasocial relationship when it comes to Joe Rogan fans, and I'm not trying to say that he's not a normal dude in the sense that he doesn't get angry, he doesn't feel emotions. Of course he does, he's a human being, but he doesn't deal with normal people problems like you and I do. He never has to worry about where the next meal's coming from, where his fucking car payments and all that shit are gonna be done. He doesn't have to worry about anything that the average person has to worry about day to day. Joe Rogan, or even Joe Rogan's kids, probably never have to worry about money for the rest of their lives. For a lack of better terms, I think when you get into that tax bracket, you're not an average person anymore. But I know a lot of people are gonna harp on the money. Why is it about the money, bro? Let's take the money out of it, okay? And let's just talk about his fucking audience size. This guy has probably the biggest fucking podcast in the history of podcasts. Millions of people listen to Joe Rogan, meaning he has influence. No matter how much he tells you that he's a normal guy or that he fucking, I'm a moron, I'm only a UFC commentator like he says in this clip.
I'm not a doctor. I'm a fucking moron. And I'm a cage fighting commentator who's a dirty stand-up comedian. But I'm not a respected source of information, even for me.
From that clip, I agree. He is not a trusted source. He even says he wouldn't trust himself. But that is not the problem here, because when you build an audience, if you guys have never done this, I don't know if you're content creators or anybody like that, when you have a freaking audience, they will follow what you say if they agree with you so wholeheartedly. You won't ever understand this until you have an audience of your own. I don't have a large one, but at one time, I did have an audience that everybody was like, yeah, we totally agree with you, bro. And when you have have an audience like that that just hangs on every word you say and you let it go unchecked, it could get really crazy. Now, Joe Rogan has said that he's not anti-vax or whatever, and he's just promoting health. But the problem is when you have somebody that respects you so much, like a lot of his audience does, they're like, Joe Rogan said I don't need it, so I'm not gonna take it because I'm healthy, I'm young. And that's a problem, especially in something like a pandemic. This isn't like a fitness thing or just like, oh yeah, let's do a keto diet or anything like that. It's not, this could fucking kill you. And when you have somebody with such a large audience like Joe Rogan saying that like, oh, as long as you're healthy, if you're young, it's not really gonna affect you, it's been proven that that's bullshit. Exhibit A, this person who is in their 30s went to a COVID party, got COVID, and died. They, unfortunately, were unvaccinated. But they got it because they didn't take it seriously. And again, this is something that you can spread to other people, even if you survive it, because I have friends that have gotten COVID and they survived it, so it's not lethal to everybody, but it can be. If you want another heartbreaking story to make this video even worse, there was a story of a 4-year-old that got COVID and she died. Just because you're young and healthy doesn't mean that this thing can't kill you. It doesn't discriminate. So when you have somebody like Rogan talking to millions of people saying that if as long as you're healthy, it's not going to affect you, you're going to be good, it's a huge fucking problem. Here's the end of the video that said that I wasn't scared during the entire pandemic. This is what he says at the end of that 14-minute video.
Everything's fine. I'm doing pretty good. But meanwhile, I don't have a bad message. My message is be healthy. And obviously, there's some merit to that. You know, and merit to being consistently healthy. You know, here's a message. The thing that fucked me is drinking. I think that really fucked me.
Yeah.
I bet if I went home early, went to the hotel early Friday night and got sleep like I normally do, I bet it would have never got me.
You think so?
Yeah, I was hammered.
The link to that video will be in the description. But right there, he's saying that his message is to be healthy. And he says that he thinks drinking was the reason why he got COVID. Okay, I don't know the timeline of when he got tested and when he's in the video that he put on Instagram or whatever, he said he came back from the road, he said he didn't feel good, and he got tested the next day and he had COVID. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not a scientist here, I'm not a doctor, I don't think that you get COVID one day and you have it the next day or start feeling symptoms the next fucking day. I don't think it happens that fast. According to Google, it happens from anywhere from 2 to 14 days. So Rogan could have been exposed to COVID 2 weeks prior to him actually getting sick. That's the reason why a lot of these workplaces are saying if you're unvaccinated, you gotta quarantine for 14 days. So again, in one of his most recent freaking videos, he's saying that he thinks it's the drinking that got him or whatever. If he would have been healthy or he would have done any healthy things, it probably wouldn't have got him. And that's not necessarily how that works, Joe. Anyways, this is just a random thrown together video because I thought it was hilarious that my brain shitted out a video about Joe Rogan and a bunch of his fans just got upset about it. Like I said in the description of that video and even here, I used to listen to Joe Rogan. I think he used to do some really good interviews. Just something with the pandemic and all this misinformation just kind of turned me off from watching his content. But I think there is a big discussion to be had here with people that have platforms that spread this kind of information that can be very dangerous. You shouldn't be putting stock into a person in a video or on a podcast that doesn't have a fucking degree and talking about shit that they don't know about. Because as much as Rogan says he's a moron, the way he talks about things sounds like he knows what he's talking about. He says like, oh, I read this study or I did this. Where are you getting that information from, Joe? He doesn't always put it on the podcast, and I know because I watched it. He'd be like, oh yeah, pull it up or type in this or type in that. Because he's always telling somebody else to do it. It's not like on the fucking bottom of his video saying, I got this from the CDC, blah, blah, blah. So if you take anything away from this video, if you watch the whole video, thank you for one, and also hit that subscribe button if you like this content. But if you take anything away from this damn video, is don't put too much stock into fucking celebrities, YouTubers, TikTokers, what the fuck they say when it comes to things that can affect your health. Unless they are fucking medically trained in that. And even if they say like, oh, don't listen to me, I'm a moron, that's only to cover their ass legally. Also, to be honest, this doesn't even apply to celebrities. If your family is telling you this kind of stuff, but you go and you look at the science and are like, well, the science is saying all this stuff and it's actually good, maybe follow the science. Because I know a lot of people that will not take care of themselves just because their family is against it. At the end of the day, you need to watch out for yourself because something that affects your family doesn't necessarily mean it's going to affect you the same. It could be worse for you. It could be better for you. Do not be the person that is a statistic of like, oh shit, it fucked me up, but not my best friend or whatever. Protect yourself out there, and you want to also know the thing is if we all protected ourselves, this shit would be over with. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is my random ass video on me pissing off Joe Rogan chads. If you guys like this kind of content, if it was random, if it was entertaining, if it was infuriating, please let me know in the comment sections down below. I'm pretty sure we will have some more Joe Rogan people in this comment section. I welcome you guys. Hey, I don't hate you. Like I said, I used to listen to the guy, but at the same time, I wish you just wouldn't take everything he says to heart. Also, we should work on not trying to spin shit so it protects your favorite person. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys want some more content, I've been posting a lot over on my gaming channel. Definitely go check that out. Also, I do have that TikTok that started all of this random nonsense in this video. But of course, I appreciate you guys watching my content. Also hitting that subscribe button because it helps out the channel. But as always, I'm your host, JUICEbox. Remember to wake up in the morning and ask yourself something. I'm a daily dose of juice. See you guys next time.